I'm so proud of my daughter for this. Long story though, sorry. My daughter 19 female had a group of high school friends for years. Fast forward freshman year college, and her new roommate becomes part of the friend group. I was diagnosed with stage 3 cancer the same day she started classes that year. And as the year goes on, her relationship with some of these friends starts to have problems, but the roommate still seems solid, so they sign a lease for sophomore year. By the beginning of sophomore year, all of her high school friends, 4, have turned on my daughter, and she's struggling to figure out why. By the end of September, she finds out the roommate has been playing both sides of the fence and has ultimately sided with my daughter's old friends and continues to see them regularly. This, of course, creates a nasty living situation for my daughter, but she does her best to manage through. As time goes on, I come to find out that her friends turned on her because they felt that her emotional needs were toxic for them to be around. My daughter was having panic attacks about my cancer and other normal things, and was reaching out to her friends for someone to talk to, and they couldn't handle it. A few weeks ago, the roommate invited 2 of these friends to stay over. My daughter asked that they pick another time as she had work and then an all-nighter ahead of her finishing her finals, and she didn't want to be in the apartment if they were going to be. The roommate ignored this request. My daughter walked into them being there after work and had a panic attack. The roommate looked at her and said, "See, this is why you have no friends when you behave like this. What do you expect?" This week, my daughter managed to find a way to move out before the roommate came back from break. The couch, the coffee table, the rug, the pots and pan, the dishes, the shower curtain, on and on. All of it was my daughter's. The internet, the electric, the water, all in my daughter's name. She took everything, moved out, and left the roommate to come back from break with none of it working and all of the shared space items gone. And left her a note signed, "What did you expect? Oh, I wish I could be a fly on the wall when she walks in." Edit/update. Just saying thank you to everyone for the love and support. Wow, you guys are great. I don't know that there will be an update, as my daughter specifically asked the roommate to not contact her unless it involves the lease. So we will see. Much love. Update. My daughter received a text from one girl in the group, not the roommate, asking if they can talk to her about bringing some of the stuff back, as the roommate was thinking of calling the police. My daughter simply said, "No. I only took my stuff, so go ahead and call the police, but don't ever text me again." So not much of an update, but at least we know that revenge was definitely served. Comment by user. You raised your daughter well. Kudos to you. And prayers for your battle against cancer. As for your daughter's former roommate and her so-called friends, they better be lucky they didn't get a Jerry Springer-style beatdown. Reply by original poster. We've got the chairs. Comment by user. Does your daughter regularly have panic attacks? If she has a panic disorder, supportive friends or no, it might be a good idea to suggest she seek treatment. Reply by original poster. For reference, she has been in therapy since she was 8, primarily due to her father's abandonment, and has a psychiatrist and a therapist. Comment by user. What about the lease? How did she manage to get out of that? Reply by original poster. For reference, my daughter did not break the lease. She was able to work out a sublet situation and set up some personal support systems that allowed her to simply move. Since she will not be utilizing the utilities, it now becomes the responsibility of the other roommate, who will be continuing occupancy. Comment by user. I am so sorry you and your daughter are going through this. My mother died of cancer at the beginning of my sophomore year of college, and I lost a lot of friends too. I came to realize they couldn't handle it, but at least they didn't trash me. That was the hardest time of my life, but since then, whenever I have had really hard times, I have been able to tell myself, this may be bad, but it's not as bad as that time was. There is a solace in that. Hopefully your daughter can have that knowledge, and her mom too. Reply by original poster. Thank you for this. I am so sorry that you had to go through that, but I'm glad that you are stronger for it. No doubt your mama is watching over you. Comment by user. I had a similar experience to your daughter's when my dad had cancer and eventually died of it in May 2020. My own best friend decided I was too much to deal with, and even called me codependent, about 4 months after his highly traumatic death, and basically told me to fuck off for good. All in the middle of the pandemic. There is grief, anxiety, and that comes with a parent's cancer diagnosis, even if it isn't terminal, grief for what will never be the same, anxiety for what could always come, and pain for having to live through it. I was grieving. I was anxious. I was in pain. Your daughter is grieving. Your daughter is anxious. Your daughter is in pain. A lot of people aren't strong enough to even be in the vicinity of someone who's going through something like this, not to mention act as a support system, and they don't deserve a moment more of your daughter's time. I don't know if it means shit coming from a random internet user, but she just did a really, really hard thing, and I'm proud of her for standing up for herself. And I know she'll find friends who aren't shitheads and that will and should love her for who she is, no matter where she is. She is obviously stronger than those assholes will ever be. I hope she knows it. Best wishes on your recovery. Original poster. Kick cancer's ass. You've got one hell of a daughter to help you fight, too. Reply by original poster. I'm so sorry for your loss and that it was complicated by your old friend. I wish you nothing but the best. Thank you. Comment by user. These individuals have clearly never gone through trauma. They've never seen death or battled through adversity. My mom was diagnosed with cancer at the end of high school and passed away in college. It took time for me to return back to my true self. I went through depression, isolation, anger, etc. My girlfriend of 3 years broke up with me during this time, putting all the blame on me. I tried to explain how going through something like that is traumatizing and can affect how people act, and the only cure is time and understanding. She didn't understand. Your daughter's friends didn't understand. Your daughter will have a deeper emotional maturity because of this, and while the short term is fucking hard to deal with, she will be a much more capable and understanding person as time moves on. Kudos to her for severing ties and removing the toxic baggage that was dragging her down. And kudos to you for recognizing this and being proud. Reply by original poster. I am so sorry that you had to go through that. I am glad that you found your way out of it. Comment by user. Best of luck to you and to your daughter. Cancer is scary. I hope she finds better people. Your daughter might want to avail herself of her school's counseling. Aside from learning healthy ways to manage stress and being able to talk to someone, it will make it easier to get a makeup test, turn in a paper late. I took care of my mom with a cancer she ignored for over a year. No way could I have gone to school during this. Reply by original poster. Oh wow. Sorry you had to go through that. Comment by user. Hi user Bergert, I am so sorry that you have to deal with cancer. Fuck cancer. My wife battled with cancer last year. Thankfully the treatment worked for her. I am sending you positive energy and thoughts so you can kick cancer's ass. I am also sending your daughter positive thoughts and energy to help her with her panic attacks. Congrats to your daughter for moving out of a toxic environment and taking all of her possessions with her. I have to agree with the other Redditors who said that her former friends need a royal ass kicking. Is your daughter living with you? Is your daughter still going to college? Reply by original poster. Congratulations to your wife. And best of luck to her. It's a journey. I was in remission as of last February. Yes. Still in school and found a sublet. Comment by user. Jesus fucking Christ. Mean Girls College Edition. How awful. Props to your daughter for handling it like a boss. I'm sorry about your diagnosis. I'm a stage 3 CBC survivor 12 years out. I tell people learning about a cancer diagnosis is like having to learn a new language, one you never wanted to learn about, and without a teacher. There's lots of online support groups though, and I really connected with one in particular. Best to you on your journey. Reply by original poster. Thank you. Congrats on your remission. I'm dealing with ovarian. Either way, cancer sucks. Comment by user. I did this. So many years ago, living with roommate that allowed neighbors and strangers to have wild drug parties while I was at work. Lines on my tables, drugs on my couch, they'd have sex in my bed, go through my stuff WHE watching my TV, eating my food. There were small children in the house. Not mine. People I did not know were knocking on my bedroom door at night. I moved everything that was mine out while they were at work. It was nearly everything. The phone calls I got. I said remove me from the lease or I call the police. I never saw them again. I hope their kids are okay. Reply by original poster. That's awesome. Comment by user. Just a reminder that this is one side of the story. If you have a friend in your life who is dealing with something difficult that makes them behave in a way that you are not equipped to handle, you are not in the wrong for taking a step back. It's incredibly sad, but there are times when you wish you could help someone you care about, but they ask for too much. It's not wrong for these girls to be unable to handle something as complicated as one of their peers dealing with the loss of a parent. We also don't know how this girl's anxiety manifests itself. We don't know if she lashes out, or if she makes unreasonable requests to be accommodated. Her actions might be understandable given the circumstances, and at the same time still inappropriate. What we have here is an account from a mother who would obviously have a very one-sided view of everything. I am sorry for everyone involved who is in pain, but tearing into the rest of those girls and saying things about them without knowing the full story isn't fair. You're just perpetuating stereotypes about how mean girls can be without a good reason. Reply by original poster. I do want you to know that you are 100% right. I don't necessarily blame them for backing away. I do, however, think they did it in a very terrible way, made comments to my daughter that were completely unnecessary and disregarded her request for boundaries after they decided to do that to her. If they were truly worried about her and their ability to handle the situation, they could have easily reached out to an adult that knows her. The one mom and I were good friends and she knew nothing. Half of those kids had my number on their phone too and could have reached out to let me know that my daughter needed more help, but they all chose to abandon her. What my daughter did was overall a minor inconvenience and likely more shock to her former roommate than anything. Just a small bit of pettiness. I would in no way condone anything more dramatic. Comment by user. To be fair to the friends though, someone else's panic attacks are a lot to deal with, especially if they are A, young, and B, not trained professionals. They may have dealt with it badly, but your daughter should have gotten proper help from an actual counseling service instead of dumping it all on her friends. I can see why they backed away. Don't assume that friends are there to carry the loads for you, and also don't assume that they have the fortitude to deal with someone dealing with your cancer. I am sorry, but your daughter was struggling. Why didn't you encourage her to get professional help when you knew she was having a hard time? Reply by original poster. While yes, I do understand that this might have been too much for her friends to handle, they dealt with the situation very badly. If you read through the comments, you would know that she did have professional support. You can't exactly time your panic attacks to only happen when you have an appointment with your therapist. Comment by user. Nothing like emotional distress to find out who your friends are. Happened to me after my boyfriend ended his life in front of me. I reached out to friends I'd had since kindergarten and they turned their backs on me. Only my boyfriend was there and she's like my blood. She's the only one I have left and I am fine with that. Good for your daughter for standing up for herself, and I wish you full recovery and return to health. Reply by original poster. I'm so sorry that you had to go through that. I can't even imagine. I'm glad at least someone was there for you. Thank you. Comment by user. It's hard to believe your daughter and the other girls were friends since high school. What's even more unbelievable is that one person can come along cause so much division and tension without a care in the world. The ex-roommate is a two-faced snake in the grass and the former friends were never your daughter's friend. I bet if your daughter were to look back on the friend group she'll see that the red flags were always there but she was blinded by loyalty. I have a feeling with time ex-roommate will reveal her true colors and they will come to regret how they mistreated her and throwing away years of friendship. Since your daughter moved out, has any of her former friends reached out to her? What about the ex-roommate? Reply by original poster. Thank you. Very true. Just the one trying to get some stuff back. My daughter is slowly feeling better. Comment by user. My daughter walked into them being there after work and had a panic attack. Yeah, I can see why maybe they don't like living with her. If I had to tiptoe around my roommates like this in college, I'd probably not want them there either. I am not saying that your daughter's feelings are invalid, but short of throwing a full-on party, my roommates never dictated who/when I could invite friends over. Reply by original poster. I understand what you're saying. I just want to note that she didn't dictate it. She asked that they choose another night because of finals, short notice, and work. My daughter would have happily made arrangements to stay somewhere else if they were going to be there. The abandonment of those friends hurt her very badly and this roommate decided that those feelings didn't matter and ignored my daughter's request. Additionally, she decided to insult her while she was having the panic attack. This is where the problem is. There was no regard for my daughter's mental well-being in her decision. Comment by user. This story sounds eerily familiar to another one posted. In the other version, it wasn't panic attacks over a cancer diagnosis, it was roommate trying to chase out the woman so her boyfriend can move in. I am not buying the story at all. Reply by original poster. Check my post history if you don't believe me. Comment by user. Yeah. Gimme some of that sweet revenge for. Checks notes. For hanging out with friends? Yeah. Fuck those bitches? Reply by original poster. No. For inviting friends who specifically hurt my daughter into her shared space without giving my daughter enough time to make arrangements to be elsewhere and without respecting her request to reschedule. Thereby, knowingly forcing her into a situation that was going to be detrimental to her mental health. Comment by user. I was someone who came into college and young adulthood with no family support and some mental health problems. My group of, mainly international, friends were family to me, and they really were fantastic. I always tried to stick to boundaries and not make my mental health their problem, but I am not sure I always succeeded. I own that and I sympathize with your daughter. I hope she finds what she needs. I don't know your daughter's situation in full, obviously. One thing is for sure, it sounds like she was around the wrong people at the wrong point of her life, and for her and them I am glad she's out. I am just a bit worried that the roommate or even their friend group had a basis to their concerns. I am not sure they signed up or expected to deal with her panic attacks, and as a young person they didn't deal with that in the kindest or most respectful way. This is probably because young people are often selfish, but also because perhaps your daughter's lack of skills in handling mental health made it genuinely hard to be friends with her. It happens, and I am sure if that's the case she'll grow out of it. But even if it isn't, it doesn't mean your daughter had a mature reaction here, and it's certainly not something you should be cheering her on for. I think as a mom you should be rushing to support, as in materially support, this kid that your daughter screwed over. Teen drama happens, but that is the right thing to do in this situation. They didn't sign up to supply your daughter's emotional needs, and if they had known what it would be like they probably wouldn't have signed up to be her roommate, let alone put her on all the utilities. I am just imagining this story from their perspective, which would probably provide a lot of context. Is your daughter still going to pay her share? Or will this kid now be hard up for rent in addition to scrambling to get basic kitchen supplies and get the utilities switched over? This was bad. This was a bad way of handling the situation. I am sorry, but though this was a fun revenge story, this was a little fucked up. Reply by original poster. I appreciate your view, but you have no clue. This was definitely not a bad way to handle the situation. Yes, I do understand that these girls were probably too immature to really handle the situation. They clearly handled it wrong, and in the end, I will always protect my daughter. There is so much more that I could have been included in this story, but it would have made it far, far much longer. Bottom line here is that my daughter made an effort to ask them to respect her boundaries and made them aware of situations that might trigger a panic attack, and they had no regard for those. This is really a fairly minor inconvenience. It doesn't hurt anyone financially. All they have to do is call the utilities company, buy a shower curtain, a plate, and a pan. They can sit on the floor. Comment by user. It sounds like a shitty situation. Doesn't that mean your kid is still on the hook for the lease, though? How did she get out of that? Reply by original poster. It is and she is. She has a sublet situation and some personal recourses that allowed her to make the move possible. Please leave your story in the comments. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe to get new update. Thank you.